morning friends. Today I Tanya of class 10C is going to tell you about the human digestive system. The human beings have a special organ for the ingestion of food. It is called mouth. So in human beings, food is ingested through the mouth. The food is put into the mouth with the help of hands. In human beings, the digestion of food begins in the mouth. In fact, the digestion of food starts as soon we put the food into the mouth. This happens as follows. The mouth cavity or the buccal cavity contains teeth, tongue and salivary glands. The teeth cuts out the food into smaller pieces, chews and grind it. So the teeth help in physical digestion. The salivary glands in our mouth produce saliva. Our tongue helps in mixing the saliva with food. Saliva is a watery liquid, so as it wets the food in the mouth, the wetted food can be swallowed more easily. Our mouth waters. This watering of mouth is due to the secretion of saliva by salivary glands in the mouth. The salivary glands helps in the chemical digestion by secreting enzymes. The human saliva contains an enzyme called salivary amylase which digests the starch present in food into sugars. Thus, the digestion of starch begins in mouth itself. Since the food remains in mouth only for a short time, so the digestion of food remains incomplete in the mouth. The slightly digested food in the mouth is swallowed by the tongue and goes down from the food pipe called esophagus. The esophagus carried food to the stomach. This happens as follows. The walls of the food pipe have muscles which can contract and expand alternately. When the slightly digested food enters the food pipe, the walls of the food pipe start contraction and expansion movements. The contraction and expansion movements of the walls of the food pipe are called peristaltic movements. This peristaltic movements of the food pipe pushes the slightly digested food into the stomach. The mouth is a J-shaped organ present on the left side of this abdomen. The food is further digested in the stomach. The food is churned in the stomach for about 3 hours. During this time, the food breaks down into small pieces and forms a semi-solid paste. The stomach wall contains 3 tubular glands in its walls. The gland present in the walls of the stomach excrete gastric juice. The gastric juice contains 3 substances: hydrochloric acid, enzyme pepsin and mucus. Due to the presence of hydrochloric acid, the gastric juice is acidic in nature. In the acidic medium, the enzyme pepsin begins the digestion of proteins present in food to form smaller molecules. Thus, the protein digestion begins in the stomach. Please note that the protein digesting enzyme pepsin is active only in the presence of an acid. So, the function of hydrochloric acid in the stomach is to make the medium of gastric juice acidic so that the enzyme pepsin can digest the proteins properly. Another function of hydrochloric acid is that it kills any bacteria which may enter the stomach with food. The mucus helps to protect the stomach wall from the own secretion of hydrochloric acid. If mucus is not secreted in proper way, digestion may become problematic. Hydrochloric acid will cause the erosion of inner lining of stomach leading to the formation of ulcers in the stomach. The partially digested food then goes from the stomach into the small intestine. The exit of food from the stomach is regulated by a sphincter muscle which releases it into the small amounts into the small intestine. From the stomach, the partially digested food enters to the small intestine. The small intestine is large part of the alimentary canal. It is about 6.5 meters long in an adult man. Though the small intestine is very long, it is called small intestine because it is very narrow. The small intestine is arranged in a form of coil in our belly. Please note that the length of the small intestine differs in various organs depending on the type of food they eat. For example, cellulose is a carbohydrate food which is digested with difficulty. So the herbivore animals like cow which eat grass need a longer small intestine digested with difficulty. So the herbivorous animals like cow which eat grass need long small intestine to allow the cellulose present in the grass to be digested completely. On the other hand, meat is a food which is easier to digest. So the carnivorous animals like tigers which eat meat have a shorter small intestine. The small intestine in human beings begins. This is the site of complete digestion of food like carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. The small intestine receives the secretion of two glands, livers and pancreas. Liver secretes bile. Bile is greenish yellow liquid made in the liver, which is normally stored in gallbladder. Bile is alkaline and contains salt, which helps to emulsify the breaks of fats present in the food. Thus, bile performs two functions. Makes the acidic food coming from the stomach alkaline so that pancreatic enzymes can act on it. And bile salts breaks the fats present in the food into small globules, making it easy for enzymes to act and digest them. Pancreas is a large gland in which lies to the beneath of the stomach. Pancreas secretes pancreatic juices, which contains digestive enzymes like pancreatic amylase, trypsin, and lipase. The enzyme amylase breaks down the starch, the enzyme trypsin digests the proteins, and the enzyme lipase breaks down the emulsified fat. The walls of the small intestine contains glands which secretes intestinal juice. The intestinal juice contains a number of enzymes which complete the digestion of complex carbohydrates into glucose, proteins into amino acids, and fatty acids into fatty acids and glycerol. Glucose, amino acids, fatty acids, and glycerol are small water-soluble molecules. In this way, the process of digestion converts a large and insoluble food molecule into smaller water-soluble molecules. The chemical digestion of food is brought by biological catalysts called enzymes. After digestion, the molecules of food become so small that they can pass through the walls of the small intestine and go into our blood. This is called absorption. The small intestine has main reason for absorption of digested food. In fact, the small intestine is specially adapted for absorbing the digested food. The inner surface of the small intestine has million tiny figures like projection called villi. The presence of villi gives the inner lining walls of the small intestine a very large surface area, and this large surface area of the small intestine helps in rapid absorption of digested food, and digested food which is absorbed through the walls of the small intestine goes into our blood. The blood carries digested and dissolved food to all parts of the body where it becomes assimilated and a part of cells. This assimilated food is used by the body cells for obtaining energy as well as for growth and repair of the body. The energy is released by the oxidation of assimilated food in the cells during respiration. The digested food which is not used by our body immediately is stored in the liver in the form of carbohydrate called glycogen. This stored glycogen can be used as a source of energy by the body as and when required. A part of food which we eat cannot be digested by our body. This undigested food cannot be absorbed in the small intestine. So the undigested food passes from the small intestine into a wider tube called the large intestine. So the undigested food passes from the small intestine to the wider tube called large intestine. Due to this, the undigested food is become almost solid. The last part of the small intestine called rectum stores the undigested food for some time, and then it is excreted out from the anus. Thank you.